Welcome back to Tamara Bowling Video Ball Reviews. Today we are testing the 900 Global Zen Gold Label. If you like what we do, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe and check us out on Patreon. First impressions, when you need a more skid flip Zen reaction, this is the ball. All right, jumping right in, the very quick hit on the 900 Global Zen Gold Label is it's basically a more flippy Zen. What Storm has done is stick that big meditate core from the original Zen into a cleaner pearl cover stock. The basics is that it allows the gold label to get through, down lane longer than the original, so less mid lane reaction, and then create some pop down lane. I mean, the original wasn't sort of lacking for it, but it is, when you pick up a little bit more mid lane reaction, you slow the back end a little bit. So for those times when the Zen kind of feels a touch too big because of the mid lane read, you can drop to the Zen Gold Label. Honestly, this thing kind of feels a lot like a Rubicon UC2. Kind of helps that it looks like, just like it as well. For Tyler, he was right at home with the gold label. I mean, this is a pretty easy reaction to manage for him on a medium house shot. He's got that medium to higher rev rate and a slightly rev dominant style, which means he doesn't really struggle to see ball motion. And as advertised, the ball is long and strong. It does have a bit of a forward roll, which is sometimes exacerbated with Tyler's very high track. Any over/under we saw is mostly, I would say, due to the react to gloss finish. We went back to try it out of box, just to see if there's anything there, and nope, we still don't like it. But, Tyler generally gets on with it anyway. But it would definitely look better if we sort of did our usual, change in surface. At the lanes, we did hit it with the light 3000 scuff to take a touch of the shine off, and it improved it while still maintaining the shape. On the house shot, it's a little bit of a struggle to see the difference between the original Zen and the gold label here, but if you pay really close attention, you'll notice a touch more mid lane, but mostly noticeable because of the slightly different entry into the pins and off the deck. But it makes total sense as a complement in the mid-late category of the bag. And I think if we run a sport shot, it would be, a lot more obvious the difference. Brian is next, and it really feels like we've seen this ball reaction before, if I have to be totally frank. I've discussed the multitude of mid-late balls Storm has released, and then here's another. And we can keep calling out subtleties, but ultimately, you, the bowler, can choose from lots of balls in this category, really. I mean, I guess whatever has the best shelf appeal for you. I mean, even, despite the subtle differences. But same story here in terms of getting down lane quite easily, but then has, I would say, obviously a smaller back-end reaction for Brian's style. Again, I don't think the React to Gloss does the ball any favors. Even with the 3000 scuff, it feels like a reaction that has limited use for Brian in terms of the conditions he sees. Mid-late balls don't usually get a ton of play for him until he's on something like Cheetah or Boardwalk. Generally, the balls don't have much in the way of mid-lane control to help him on the typical house shot. With the gold label, he doesn't quite have to straddle the friction, though, since it does have some back-end, and despite the ball having, I would say, questionable entry and exit, he did carry more often than not, if that's any consolation. My hunch is changing the surface will improve this ball, but I think the IQ Tour Ruby is probably still better suited in this slot for Brian. You will see the house shot really not separate the Zen and the Zen gold label too much here, but I would say it is enough for Brian to prefer the slightly added mid lane reaction of the Zen, especially since he bowls on lots of sport shots. All right, my final thoughts. I wasn't able to test personally for this initial round due to a bicep tear, so hopefully I can do that soon. Generally, I'll say that the house we bowl on has high friction mid lane synthetics, which when combined with this particular house shot pattern tends to do weird things to ball reaction. So the extra slowing, for example, with not as much pop for Brian has as much to do with the conditions as his style. If you're on cleaner synthetics or conditions that hold up the mid lanes, you'll find the Zen gold label likely really show off a bit more motion. Personally, I think this ball will do very well on house, and I'm betting you'll see it on tour as well as a mid-late ball when the lanes ask for opening up the angles. Thanks for watching.